welcome to Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
Well, sisters, how are you both doing?
A little stressed at the moment.
You guys hanging in there, Tay?
Hanging in there. Why are you stressed, Riley?
Got a lot of stuff to do, sisters. Last day of a long weekend. Got a lot to do.
Riley's the world's busiest teenager.
World's busiest teen.
The busiest and the most tired, and I guess those things are related.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a week.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a week.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. We're still here.
So
nobody has stormed in and shut down our studio so far.
I don't think we'd be high on anybody's list. Anybody's.
No, I don't think so either. I don't. Nobody's intending on stopping us, I don't think. But I know at least for us, it's been difficult, and I'm sure for many of you out there, it's been even more difficult than it has been for us. And I am sorry for that. And we're here for you in your ears right now.
Or like surrounding your ears, not necessarily in your ears.
Well, that's true.
Not everyone listens on headphones. Maybe we're in like someone's car right now. Or in like someone's house.
Oh, that's trippy. We're in somebody's living room. We're in somebody else's.
Right,
maybe we're coming out of somebody's bathroom shower speaker.
Oh, man. Maybe somebody somewhere is naked listening to this right now.
Naked. Taylor said naked.
Like right now.
Jeez, what are you doing?
We know you're naked right now. We know.
And what are you even thinking? Riley's 16. Come on. Put some clothes on. What are you thinking? My sister's here. She's a teenager. Come on.
Do you hear this noise I'm making? I'm not going to stop making this noise until you put clothes on.
Way to go, you. Way to go, you. You made her make that noise.
Put some underwear
you
on.
broke me.
Come on. Jeez.
God, finally, put the clothes back on.
That's really judgmental, guys. You can be naked and listen to this podcast. You can not be not naked and listen to this podcast.
I just don't want to think about it.
Very inclusive.
Just don't want to know about
people,
it,
including naked ones.
That's very true. We currently are clothed. We tend to record clothed. In case
Thought you were going to say we currently are naked, and I was going to say nope.
I mean,
definitely not. No.
Guys, I record remotely. You can only see me from the shoulders up. I could not be wearing pants. You don't
Taylor
know.
records with no pants all
and
the
a half
time.
shirt.
No pants.
And a special half shirt that she's constructed specifically so that we would think she was wearing a shirt.
It just ties behind my neck. It's not even real clothes. It's a paper doll outfit.
It's like those things you wear for like senior pictures that just kind of like drape over the top of you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? Or like the shirts that just kind of go to like right below your chest.
It's like a dickie.
I wanted to say that word, but I honestly thought, like, can we say that word? I mean, I know it's not a bad word.
It's not a bad word. It's like a secret fake half shirt that you wear.
It's a horrible thing, though.
It is. I don't have one. Like I've never had one.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas now.
We're all getting dickies.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know what one is, it's literally just like they're always turtlenecks, right? Or like some sort of high color. But
Or I mean, you can have like a blouse collar to them too. I think.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so it's just like to make it look like you're wearing another shirt underneath whatever you're wearing, but without the rest of that effort, because that's just too much.
To put on two shirts, come on.
Don't want all that bulk under there.
Yeah, do you think you're wearing 2/3 too much shirt all the time? We have a product for you.
But as Taylor, as you mentioned, our show, as always, is for everyone, whether you are clothed or not, whether you like dickies or not.
No, let's not get too far.
No, that is totally, whatever your preference or your position on Dickies is, you are welcome to listen to this show.
That's right. We love you. But that's not why we have stressed Riley out with our talk of nakedness and dickies. But that's not why she was initially stressed.
Yeah, I got a lot of homework, guys. And I'm gonna be honest, it's my fault. I put it off.
What happened?
Okay, so this past week was really a very bad. Like, I was fine with it because I got some days off, but also like bad job school, because why would you plan a week like this? We went to school Monday and we didn't have school Tuesday for election day. And we had school Wednesday and Thursday and didn't have school Friday for Veterans Day. But then Thursday was a school play, so we didn't have 1st through 4th mod, which is like my only classes, and no one was going to be in class. So I went to school Monday, didn't go to school Tuesday, went to school Wednesday, and we had homework that was due Thursday that we had like Monday through Wednesday to work on. And I had been working on it, and I was planning on finishing it Wednesday and turning it in Thursday, and then I didn't go to school Thursday, so I didn't have any reason to finish it. So then she assigned more homework for this one class that was due tomorrow, Monday, or I guess yesterday when you're listening to this. It was due yesterday, so I hope I finished it. But
I am so confused already. Have we gone back in the past or something? Have we traveled in this conversation?
But there was more homework that was already due Monday, and I hadn't started on that yet because I was like, it's not due till Monday. I have a long weekend. And then there was homework that was due Thursday that didn't do. So now I have homework that's actually due tomorrow and homework that was due Thursday, and I haven't done any of it.
So you procrastinated is what you're trying to say. You procrastinated and played hooky.
You could have just said that's succinct. That works.
But I had to give you the whole calendar.
That sounds so much worse.
Now
you could have finished all of your homework in the time it took you to explain why you didn't do your homework.
All right, I'm going to go work on my homework now. Bye, everybody.
No. This is your homework, too. We're part of your homework.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You get credit for this.
Guys, I have so much homework to do. Like,
we can't rush our art, Riley.
Sydney, we got to rush our art. I have like 10 hours worth of homework to do.
That procrastination, at least as far as I'm considered, is definitely in our genes.
Mm-hmm.
I am a procrastinator from way back. Why do something today when you can wait until 10 minutes before you have to do it?
Yeah.
And do it then.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stuff I could be watching.
Oh, good. See, I don't know. I'm the same way. I always was I was a chronic procrastinator. In art school, I got a little better, but then it came with this double-edged like consideration of, but sometimes I felt like my work was way better if I was in some sort of pressure. Like if I tried to do like artwork way ahead of time, it was never as good as the stuff that I just pumped out the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like part of that's like, maybe this is the way I'm supposed to be. I'm better like this. That's definitely not true.
I don't know. I always kind of felt that way.
Yeah.
I did, at least in college for sure. In med school, there's not like homework per se. I mean, it's mainly just studying.
Yo, that sounds chill.
Well, no. I mean, there's homework in the sense that if you aren't constantly going back through all the material you learned each day to reinforce it and make sure you really absorbed it, and then like reading ahead for the next stuff so that you're prepped to learn it, then you're gonna fall behind. But it's not like there were like assignments like go home and do a bunch of medical problems and turn them in the next. I don't know. Like what would like do this worksheet and bring it tomorrow and hand it in. Like we didn't have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
That'd be silly. Take home this cadaver.
No. Don't tell people to do that.
No,
that's not good.
That's illegal. Don't do that. Don't ever do that.
But yeah, I have a theory about this actually, because I always feel like my best papers are written. I won't say my best projects are done under pressure because that's definitely not true. But all of my projects are due under pressure. But all my papers that I've written under pressure, like late at night, like 1 a.m, night before it's due, I always think are good because I'm so tired and I'm so sleep deprived. I just forgot what I've written. And I don't really know what I'm saying anymore. And it's just kind of coming out. And I'm like, well, finished it. It's as long as it needs to be. It's great. And I turn it in. And then it's awful.
They're all just stream of consciousness, basically.
Yeah.
That can make for some interesting, like, fiction.
Yeah. It's also really dangerous.
Like beat generation research paper.
When your teacher tells you...
Sound and the Fury, the research paper.
When your teacher tells you write me a 0 draft, so just write down everything that happens, leave in your grammatical errors, leave in your spelling errors, which is very dangerous to tell me to do because, like, I always go back and edit stuff as I'm going. I can't have grammatical or spelling errors or anything. If you tell me not to correct it, I will just write until I am done, and I will not look back. And that is very dangerous to tell someone, tomorrow have a 0 draft done for me, and then I just write. Who knows what's going to happen? No one.
This is confusing to me because Do you guys still physically write things with like your hands and a pencil? Does that
No.
still happen? No. Okay.
No.
So you're on a computer, right?
Yeah.
So what? I mean, isn't that spell check and that grammar check just pumping through all your mistakes?
Yeah, it's just
Well,
highlighting
it like
and underlining
underlines them
everything,
and
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Like, you
And
guys
she
don't
tells
know
us
how
not
to
go back and
spell
fix
or
it.
Or grammar.
Or grammar. Fair.
So why not just click the buttons at the end?
Because she tells you not to.
That's so weird.
That's a zero draft, apparently. Tell you not to fix any of your errors.
What if you're just really good at spelling and grammar and then you turn it in and it doesn't have any of those mistakes?
She did tell me the first time we did one this year that it didn't have enough errors and that she thought I had gone back and edited it. And I was like, no. Just thought as I wrote. I didn't like just write. Like I thought.
You get marked down because you didn't have enough
I
spelling.
got marked down because I was too good at spelling.
Riley goes through and misspells words intentionally. So
And I got a good grade.
well, I think that's been a really interesting evolution of like homework, because when I think back to homework, it was assignments that I physically wrote down in a notebook, and I would have like, your one big notebook per class, and like sitting there doing like writing out a whole bunch of math problems in a different math class, or like journal entries. Like we used to have to physically write journal entries for a lot of English classes, or like diagramming sentences. Do you guys still do that?
We did that in middle school. We don't really do as much grammar now. There's a lot of writing. In AP, like language and literature, there's a lot of like dissection of writing.
And like writing down, I mean, you don't do spelling now, you're too old for that, but I remember like writing pages and pages of spelling words.
Yeah. Cursive. Do y'all do cursive?
Yeah. You
You
still
learn
do
cursive?
cursive, right?
Well, no. What do we write and turn in?
I mean, but you're still taught it?
No. In elementary school.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, we weren't learning cursive in like high school.
I was gonna say you didn't go to cursive class.
No, like we learned it and then we moved on to other things. We didn't continue to like
And they
refine
scared
our
us.
cursive skills.
Because they told us that in high school and middle school, if you didn't write all your papers in cursive, they wouldn't take them. But like that's so not true.
Well, no, because now you just type.
Because now we just type. Like we're not going to pick like a cursive font.
Going back to the day, we didn't. Eventually, by the end of high school, I was definitely by the end of high school, I was typing things on the computer. But when I first started turning in things that had to be typed, I had two options. Our grandma had a typewriter.
What?
A typewriter. I actually remember doing college applications on the typewriter.
That's crazy.
And I did. And then we had a word processor for a while here, which was like once you had a computer, there was no reason to own this thing, but it was like a big giant keyboard, and then there'd be paper in it, and you would like type into like a little digital screen where all your words would appear, and then once like yes, that looks good, you'd hit a button and it would like print it out, that bit of it on the paper.
So what I'm understanding is a printer.
Well, but
You type something on a digital screen that prints it. You type something on a digital screen, computer, and you print it. It's a laptop.
But it didn't have
Or
a
a
screen.
printer.
Like it didn't have a
No.
big screen. It was just like a teeny little green digital.
So it's like if you combined a laptop and a printer.
And it was like a label maker and a printer.
I was gonna say because you could only type like a sentence at a time. So it was a very hard
Exactly.
way cognitively to like work.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I did papers on that.
I couldn't do that.
Wow.
No, but that's been that was a big shift. I remember when it started being like you can turn things in that you wrote on the computer. You used, we used Microsoft Office. I don't remember why we always used Microsoft Office for
That's what I
everything at our
use.
house.
That's what we had.
Didn't Word take over that?
Isn't that part of it?
Yeah,
Word
Office
is a part
like
of
the whole
Microsoft
thing.
Office.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm thinking
Microsoft
of
Office
Works.
is like Word and PowerPoint and
I'm
Excel.
thinking. Do you remember Works? Anyway, it was something different. The point is, I remember that, but all the way even through college, when I handed something in, when I was done with a paper, I physically had a stack of paper that was stapled together with a title page that I took and handed physically to my teacher.
So you all never turned anything in electronically.
No.
No, Not a single thing.
That's crazy.
Never emailed
not.
anything. There was no way to turn. There wasn't like an established way to like upload like a PDF somewhere. That did not happen. I took no quizzes online. I think the first time I'd ever done that was actually in med school. I took this special tropical medicine course, and they had some of the tests online, and that was the first time I'd ever taken a test online.
It's crazy.
Other than like standardized tests, like my boards are online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything I turn in pretty much now is turned in online. I mean, like, you write it and it's due at, like, most of the time they make it, my teachers make it due the day that it's due at 7 in the morning online. And, like, they get a timestamp so they see when you turn it in. And it'll tell them if you turn it in late. I think it's because they know that we're all up late all night working on it. So they're like, I'm not going to make it due at midnight. Just make it due at 7 in the morning.
It's fair.
Does that make you wait even later, though?
Yeah, it's also kind of like a punishment. Like, instead of just giving you until midnight to turn it in, I'm giving you until 7 in the morning. So you could be up until 7 in the morning instead of just being up till midnight. That's what you get for procrastinating.
Other than writing papers, what other, like, I mean, because I do remember, like, coming home and doing a whole bunch of, you know, I mean, when we're talking high school math, like algebra 2, well, no. Yeah, I guess it was algebra 2, trigonometry.
Yes.
Those kinds
What
of
about them?
like, do you do that still?
Well, I mean, I don't
Do
have
you
like
do
big
math still?
Do you do math? That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I
Is do you do math?
I don't have a math class this year, but last year I had a math class, and yeah, I had math problems. But my 2 years of high school that I've had math classes, it's been a very easy math class where we go in, she goes over the homework from the day before and tells us the right answers and answers questions if we have them, gives us a new homework assignment, and we do that, and it's due the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time it's just like, here's the last 35 minutes of class. Your homework is due tomorrow. Do with it as you will.
Really?
Yeah. So I just did my homework during class.
I don't remember ever having that. Like, I always feel like homework was specifically like you don't
For
have
home.
Yeah, you don't have time to do that here.
Yeah, it's called homework because you do it at home and it's work.
Now,
A little bit of
I
word
think
dissection
a
there
lot of
for you.
people would have you believe that teenagers are expected to do way more homework now than they used to do. Do you think I don't know this. I have no idea statistics on this to prove whether or not that is true. Do you think that's true? Do you think I mean, like,
I think so.
What's an average night of homework for you?
Yeah,
Like
how many
time-wise?
hours?
Yeah.
Like 2 hours.
A night?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I try to be responsible with my work. So I will say for me, it is 2 hours a night because we have a chapter a week to read in like both of my AP psychology and my AP US history classes. So we're supposed to have a chapter, like we start on one Monday and then have it read by the next Sunday to take a quiz online every Sunday. But I try to read the chapter as I go throughout the week instead of waiting and trying to read all like 45, 50 pages in one day, and take notes as I go throughout the week. So.
Now, do you think that, because you go to school a half day,
Mm-hmm.
but you do take very challenging courses as well,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that's average then with a lot of your friends? Or are your friends, since they're going to school a full
Well,
day, are they doing twice as much homework as you?
I will say my friends, not all of them are in all AP like I am because most of them have 7 classes a day. But the ones that I do have that are in all AP either don't do what I do, which I think I take the extra time that I have because I try to do my homework. Obviously, it didn't work out this week for me very well. I try to do my homework in the time that I come home. Like, I get home at like 12:30 and try to give myself like 2 hours. So like by the time everyone else would actually be done with school, I don't have any homework, or like I have an extra hour where people are already at school and I don't have homework. I don't think all of them have that time, so they don't worry about doing the extra stuff. Like, they will read the chapter all in one day, or like do the notes all in one day, or wait until the last minute to do stuff. And like, I still do that on big projects, but like nightly homework and stuff, I don't think everyone else does as I do.
Are they doing like but they're not doing like 4 hours
No.
of homework a night?
No, I'd say they like don't do the extra reading and studying and stuff that I do, and they probably just do like I'd say like hour, 45 minutes to an hour of actual homework that we have to do a night.
I feel like that was more like us. Taylor, does that sound right? I feel like I spent like an hour maybe.
Yeah, well, I feel like maybe I just have particularly evil teachers, but during the weekdays, you might have maybe an hour, maybe two, some days not at all. It was always the Friday homework. Then they would be like, okay, great, we're going to give you 4 or 5 hours of homework because it's Friday. You've got all weekend to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's when they'd pile it on.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're definitely right that the bigger projects were over the weekends, bigger papers.
I feel like my one specific history teacher does this on purpose, where he'll give us a project and say, this is due in 3 weeks, knowing that you're going to forget about it until like 2 days before it's due. Like he says, I gave you 3 weeks, but he doesn't talk about it in class ever unless it's the day he signed it, the day it's due. So like he gave us a project 2 weeks ago that's due the day we get back from Thanksgiving break. And everyone forgot about it until like yesterday when everyone was like, oh my God, we have a project that's due in 2 weeks and it's going to take us forever. Oh, well.
Now, I feel like one thing that would get easier now than when Taylor and I were younger is that to do anything that involved like research, I feel like it would, be way easier now than it used to be. Because I remember trying to find time like while I was still within the school building to get to the library and do like library research on things. Because it was going to be a pain if I hadn't done it by the time I had to leave school. Because what am I going to go back? Am I going to go to the public library? I actually have to go physically somewhere and do something to do research. And then, of course, the internet did away with a lot of that. But on the flip side, the internet has a lot of information. Not all of it is right or true or helpful or well-sourced or evidence-based,
I remember when we first started being able, when the internet was a thing, it was still like you couldn't cite the internet for a while as a source, any sort of website for any sort of research paper or project. Teachers were very insistent. So, of course, if you were a smart girl like me, you'd get the books that you knew you needed and write them down as your source material. And then you get the information from the internet because no teacher's going to go back and read those books. They're not going to pull off that 500-page biography on somebody and look for that one random fact you cited. Heck no.
No, they're just looking at your list. They're looking at your sources to see, like, did you put periods or commas or quotation marks or whatever the heck in the right places? Like, what's underlined and what's in italics? Like that. I feel like that's all that mattered. But I remember them saying, like, you can have one internet source, but that's it. And the rest of yours must all be real sources. Because the idea is, like, if it's in a book, then it's real.
Yeah.
If it was on the internet, well, who knows?
See, okay.
I'm assuming that's all changed.
But what if you make up the books? Which maybe I did a couple times.
You did that before?
You made up books?
How do you make up books and authors and titles?
I am a creative type person.
That's
I'm impressed.
And nobody was ever going to catch you back then because they couldn't Google it.
No way. I mean, now, these are not tips, Riley, but seriously, like that, I was always a smart kid. My stuff was always properly researched. But when it came to the stuff that I just thought was like, this is dumb, and I know it's dumb, but I know it's also necessary, I just made sure it looked right.
Yeah. We can all agree, right? Like, there are definitely, I'm going to say, at least for me this year so far, 50% of the work I've been assigned has either not been taken up at all, which is the most frustrating thing when you stay up until 2 a.m. doing something because she tells you to do it, and then she doesn't take it up and doesn't even look at it. Or, like, it's just busy work. Like, it doesn't help you. Doesn't grade it. Like, they just give you stuff to give you stuff, right?
I mean, part of it is that if they tell you ahead of time, like, they think that the work is valuable, but if they tell you that they're not going to take it up or grade it, you're not going to do it. So they leave it as a question mark so that you will do it because the belief is that whatever exercise you've done has
helped you in some way.
Yeah, has improved your understanding of something. Now, I mean, I does it? I don't know. One assignment to the next, I'd have to look at it. And again, it would just be my opinion, so who knows?
I'm going to dig underneath the surface of homework for a minute and the concept of homework and the lives of students today. Just a hot second with you all. Join me on this trip. Today, I am so worried about getting a good grade and like just getting the A that I don't even worry about what I'm like actually learning. Like, I don't worry about, like, if this is helping me, like, understand the book, if this, like, pre-writing process is helping me write a better paper, or, like, if this paper is actually well thought out and, like, covering all the points. Like, I just worry about, like, meeting the length requirement and, like, doing what I think will make the teacher happy and just, like, doing everything I can to get the A and not worrying about, like, what I'm learning. So, like, when she says, take notes as you're reading the book for us to look at later, I'm thinking I have to take a certain amount of notes on each chapter so that she can look at them and give me points for them, not, oh, she just wants me to take notes so I have a better understanding of the book.
That's a tough point you bring up.
And that's how all my friends feel, that like we don't care about what we learn anymore because all we care about is the letter grade and the GPA.
I mean, what you're speaking to is definitely an unfortunate truism, which is that I know I have gotten A's in classes where I have not learned all of the things you would hope I would have learned. I mean, for instance, I have a minor in Spanish. I got all A's, top of the class in every one of my Spanish courses. I cannot speak Spanish. You would assume that I could.
That's actually a really funny story because I was in Spanish 3 last year, and we were talking about like family and stuff, and like people like go on like mission trips or like Doctors like Without Borders and stuff. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, Riley, didn't your sister do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, my sister like went to Honduras. I think was the trip you just most recently been on." I was like, "Yeah, Honduras," and like she helped people. My teacher was like, "Does she speak Spanish?" And I was like, "You know, she has a minor in Spanish." And she was like, "So she can speak well in Spanish." And I was like thinking for a minute, and I didn't say anything out loud. I was thinking like, I don't think Sydney can speak Spanish, but I know she definitely has a minor in Spanish.
But here's the thing, and this is just my opinion, but look, every class has a trick to it. Every teacher has a trick to them. Figure out what you got to do to them to get that A. And you know what? That lesson
What are you saying, Taylor?
is actually something applicable to life, because every job I've ever had is just I just have to figure out what do I need to bring to the table to get what I want out of this. So I understand, but I'm not saying that just learning how to put the pieces together to get what you want out of a class, and that's not necessarily a bad lesson. This is from the professional bartender, though, so maybe don't listen to me on career.
No, that's true, though.
I think you're very right, because if you're talking about preparing people for working, knowing what your boss expects and being able to perform those tasks and deliver is a very useful skill. And knowing that people look at your performance and score it a certain way, and that will help you succeed and, get promoted and stuff like that, and being able to accommodate that's a useful skill. And there is an aspect to high school and school before that I think is very much learning how to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not so much whatever you learned from the book itself, but that you knew how to break the book down so that you could learn from it. Is that the goal? The process is the goal, not the
You know who always told
result.
us that, right? Who you're becoming?
Who?
Mom.
Well,
Mom always tells me you go to school to learn how to learn.
Mom is smart. Mom gives us good advice. You'll learn that. You'll learn that more as you get older.
I want to keep talking about homework and diving into this journey of underneath the surface with you all. but first, let's check out the group message.
All right, let's go. We have a Jumbotron announcement this week.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
That sounded very serious. A Jumbotron announcement.
I know, it sounded very serious, so I tried to add an alarm so that everyone would think it was a goof.
Do you want to do this one there, Riley? You look excited. Yeah, go for it. You looked ready.
Hold on. I got to pull it up for
she
a
looked
second. Hold
raring
on.
and ready to go.
I don't... these are different. Sydney, you do it. These are different.
All right, this is a commercial. That's why it's different.
These are different.
Here's what we want you to do. We want you to subscribe to a podcast, and it's called Lindsay Walks. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this podcast about?
Tell me.
Let me tell you. Starting November 10th, so that's already happened. That's in the past. This has already begun, so don't be late.
I forgot what day it was.
It's the 13th. Starting November 10th, Lindsay Monroe is walking across the United States from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to San Diego, California. And every week, she'll call her stepbrother to check in. You can hear their conversations on the Lindsay Walks podcast.
That's a long way to walk.
So go subscribe to the Lindsay Walks podcast, and you can follow along with her on her journey and find out what she's doing and
walking.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming she's walking, but like she'll encounter things along the way.
I don't think the point of it is just to get there as fast as possible.
That's a really
all it is how many miles she's walked. That's all.
Today, 200. Thank you for listening.
200.
200 miles in one day.
Whoa, how
Concept
fast?
of how far one can walk there, Rollo.
I was gonna say, how do you know how far a mile is?
I was thinking total, Sydney.
Oh, okay.
Like my total mileage today is hit 200.
all right.
This is Lindsay Walks.
I bet the real podcast is going to be even better.
Probably definitely better than what we just, the little snippet we just gave you.
All right, sisters, we've got a sponsor I want to tell you all about this week.
Tell us.
Well, Riley, did you know that 1 in 3 women experience little bladder leaks when they run, jump, sneeze, or laugh? Do you know, by the way, sisters, you don't know this personally yet, but I will tell you, this gets worse after you've had a baby.
Good to know. This is are you doing an ad right now, or are you just asking me questions to make me uncomfortable?
We can do both at the same time.
I know. This is my favorite new ad because because there's a new way for leaky ladies to stay dry while looking fly. I didn't write that myself. I wish I had, though. I want to tell you about Icon pee-proof underwear. Now, do you remember? I remember I'd heard of the Thinx period-proof underwear. Those have been out a while. These are the same people who brought you the period-proof underwear. Now they have pee-pee-proof underwear. They look and feel like regular, beautiful underwear, but they can hold up to 6 teaspoons of liquid. And they're not all like bulky and bunchy like a panty liner, like a pad. They don't feel that way. That is a lot of liquid.
Any liquid.
Yeah, any liquid.
It's just going to be pee.
We're assuming it's pee, though. It comes with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, Icon does. So take them for a dry run, and if you're not loving them within 30 days, they will refund you. Easy peasy. But it sounds like they're going to be excellent. I know a lot of people who tried out the period-proof panties loved them. Yeah. So I think Icon's pee-proof panties should be wonderful as well. Now, if you want to check this out, Taylor, where are you going to go?
You should go to iconundies.com, and if you enter the code buffering, you get $5 off your order.
What?
You're welcome.
We did that for you.
Stay cool, stay dry, stay fancy, stay beautiful.
That's right. Live a pee-proof lifestyle with Icon. Go to iconundies.com.
Yeah, you can probably go see like a scary movie or something.
Yeah. There you go. You can go see the scariest of movies and pee your pants. You'll be
You'll be fine.
I mean, up to 6 teaspoons, but still.
It's like, don't go full out.
I've never measured how much I pee, so I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but keep it in mind.
Go to iconundies.com. Enter code buffering. So, in addition to just regular everyday homework that you're assigned, which we all remember not so fondly.
Going through not so fondly, but
yes.
it's fine.
I remember a lot of extra projects that we would be assigned periodically. I remember how many of these have gone the wayside or are still around. For instance, dioramas.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your only commentary.
Yeah.
I made an old man in the sea diorama once. It was just a little guy and a boat and a fish skeleton.
Was it old man?
What was the exact point of a diorama? Not that I loved making a diorama. I made many in my day. But, it's just a 3D illustration of some scene from a book, which seems very what is this showing? This is showing that your mom took you to Michael's Arts and Crafts and you got some dowel rods and clay.
That I always wondered that too, because I remember one of my favorite that I made was we had to do it when I was much younger for a poem. And I chose Shel Silverstein's Too Many Kids in This Tub.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Have you heard this story?
No, I've heard this poem several times because of Dad. Recently.
I remember this diorama. I remember this.
Do you remember this? So the poem it's a Shel Silverstein poem. There's too many kids in this tub. There's too many elbows to scrub. I just washed it behind.
I'm sure it's mine.
Yep.
There's too many kids in this tub.
That's it. I love you, Shel Silverstein. I have so many of his. If you ever want to hear The Crocodile Went to the Dentist, I know the entire thing by heart, and I can do it in meter. It's very good. Anyway, the point is,
meter.
Who doesn't?
I mean, I have a rhythm to it. You give me a beat, and I can do it. But, I made a diorama of Too Many Kids in This Tub, which was like a bathroom with a bathtub and then a bunch of these little plastic babies in the bathtub, and then I don't remember some sort of bubbles.
Great, Sid.
Anyway, that was the whole thing. But why? Like, why did I do that? What was that about? What did I don't what
What
did
did
I
you
learn
learn?
from that?
I think it's great from my position to have kids doing things that are artistic, but I can't imagine that's the intent at all. Like, I don't think it's a sneaky way to get kids to like make arts and crafts.
No, what?
I don't know.
Yeah. What? I mean, do you still do those?
No, the only diorama I've ever done was in elementary school. We each were given, in a group of like 4 people, we each were given a different habitat or like area of climate, and we had to make it in a little box. And I had the underwater.
This actually makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah, like we like painted it blue and like put, you know, like little like. Mom always comes up with creative stuff to put in those kinds of projects that you have to make. She always comes up with ideas last minute, like when we do them last minute. And like we put cellophane in the back so it looked like water and fish, and it was very cute. But it was in like first grade.
But I could see like if you wanted to do different like habitats, different like, you know, areas and the environmental areas and climates and that kind of thing, and like what that leads to, like what kind of animals are there, what kind of plant life is there. What's the weather like that at least informs in some way.
Yeah.
If it's a picture from a book, I still don't know like what that says about.
Yeah, I understand when you're writing something to accompany it. And like if we made the habitat and we wrote a little like, these are the animals and these are the, you know, conditions and this is where it's located. Like that's different. That's learning something. But
Yeah.
like if we would have just made a box full of fish, like that's that's not the same thing.
I mean, I guess maybe reading cognition, like how much are you paying attention to the details? I don't know. I remember doing a big project on 1984 in high school and doing like, I was always one of the smoke and mirror kind of girls. Like, I'm just going to throw as many cool looking things that I've made at you and you're going to be convinced that I'm really smart. Really, I just made a bunch of cool stuff. But I did like a diorama of Winston's room.
I remember this.
Yeah,
it
and
was
then I also
cool.
did like a city layout with like all the ministries of like love and everything. Like it was like a 3-part situation. I think I had to do like a 45-minute talk in the class or something like that, and I just basically spent the whole time explaining all the cool stuff that I'd made, and I got an A.
I remember that. That was very cool. No, I do think you're very smart also, but that was
Yeah.
also very cool.
Oh, see, no, I smart enough to once again, you find your way. You figure
Yeah.
out what they're really after. What do they really want? Which by
That
the
really
way-
is a skill to get underneath there.
I was very proud of these pueblos I built once out of
Tell us about them,
the
Sydney.
pueblos that I built. I built
you were
them out
proud of.
Yeah, I was very proud of them. I built them with the like little shoe boxes and little boxes and the brown paper, and I was very proud of the pueblos.
Huh? I
actually had that thought after Charlie was born, like, oh, someday I'm gonna build pueblos with her.
That's the moment every mother looks forward to with their daughter, building pueblos with
Man,
them.
I can
Out
build
of paper.
pueblos. They were lovely. I wasn't as good with the art stuff.
You know, the secret to making any project an A though, and our mom taught us this: food.
Yeah, just
Yes.
bring food.
Yes.
If you can incorporate food into your book report or into whatever your presentation, I remember doing like Sydney. I think you were saying you did one too, like a country presentation, and mine was Greece, and I definitely did it the night before, but Mom went to the international market and got like a tray of baklava, and I performed well.
Yeah, I've made some like spicy cornbread at some point for some reason, and then there was like I don't even remember what country that was for, and then I remember making Italian wedding cookies once.
Yeah.
And yeah, people love you when you bring food.
Yeah. I learned that lesson the hard way last year in biology when we had to make a 3D cell of some sort and like label all the different parts and make it out of something unconventional is the way she described it. And I was going to do like a cake and just put like the things on top of it.
Everybody
But
does
everyone does
a
that.
cake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know it's food. I know everyone loves the food and it would have been cute. And it's a cake. And everyone could have eaten it. But everyone's going to do that. So I'm going to do something different. And Sydney helped. Sydney knows. We made a pillow
Yeah.
It was a soft, fluffy pillow with three-dimensional little ribosomes and endoplasmic reticulum and all of
Golgi
that kind of
It
stuff.
was really cool.
All of it was in there. And girl brings in a cake with like fondant on it in different shapes and colors, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is the best project I've ever seen!" And I was like, "I made a pillow," which, to be fair, my biology teacher kept it and decorated her baby's nursery with it. So,
well, there you go.
so there you go.
You hit up the wrong sister, because you know what I did when I was confronted with that project in school?
What did you do, Tay?
I made a pizza.
You know, that's a really good way to represent a cell. And I've never thought about it before. I mean, you got the crust that's like the little like cell
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
You got the sauce that's like the liquid. What? I don't know what it's called. What?
Sorry, I was trying to sneeze as far away from the microphone as possible.
I'm not in science this year. I don't know that.
I had backed away because I was trying to like dash away from the mic while I was about to sneeze. I have a little bit of a cold.
Sydney actually dabbed a little bit.
I did.
I kind of know what she was like.
I was dabbing away from the microphone to try to not sneeze directly into the mic.
You know, there's
And
a
I'm very
kid.
sorry
There's a
about
kid
that.
in my psychology class that every time he sneezes, he dabs like on purpose, like arms straight out, like right up. It's hilarious.
Oh, so people like it. People enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like a goof.
It's
It's not like that kid. It's like, why is that kid dabbing every time? Like every time we see it, we're like, ah, there he goes again, like crazy kid dabbing when he sneezes.
So if I started doing that at work, would people think I was cool?
Please do that at work every single time you have to do anything, like cough on your elbow and just dab it up.
I don't know how I feel about a dabbing doctor. I don't think that makes me comfortable.
I'll try. I'll pilot that program for a while this week. I'll
every
do some
time you have a
dabbing.
teen patient or teen in the area, just survey the area real quick, spot a teen, sneeze, dab, move on.
And then say, "Hey, I'm dabbing Dr. McElroy. Welcome to my office today. What can I do
Can
for
I
you?"
suggest Dr. Dabbin?
How is your iPhone today?
How are your snaps? Chats.
Have you done a story yet?
Has it been 24 hours? Are you a dog in your story?
Ariana Grande is someone.
Kylie Jenner.
Yes.
Dab.
Miley Cyrus?
Mm,
T Swizzle?
no.
Oh, okay.
Look, patient, I'm super woke to your problem today, so I've got this.
Drake. You just say the name of celebrities, right? Like that's all you do to teenagers. You just look at them and say the names of celebs.
Every time you leave a doctor, like the room after seeing a patient, I want you to turn around, open the door, turn around, and just go Drake, and then dab, and then walk out.
And then I'll say, by the way, did you ever see him on Degrassi? Because he was excellent. And then I'll move on. So that's my homework.
Yes, there's your homework.
No, I think food always worked well for projects. The more stuff you had in general, and this kind of applied, I think, more to science fair and social studies fair projects. Do not think you have done enough if you just have the board, the trifold.
Oh, no.
Presentation board. No, that is not enough.
No.
You need a lot of
That's bare minimum.
accoutrement on your table.
Yes.
I remember we did one on the women's movement for a social studies fair, and we made a quiz game, made a game about famous women and what their contributions were. We had a little TV with a VCR in it. TV VCR combo plugged in at our stand with we had just on a tape made a loop of the Mary Poppins scene where Mrs. Banks sings Sister Suffragettes. Mm-hmm. Just had that on loop the whole time. The more things you can lay out.
Yeah.
And then of course you have
Definitely.
to have the look too. So we
Yeah.
had our suffragette banners on and
I remember
That
doing
helps.
one on Greek gods and dressing up in a toga. I think I also had food there too, grape leaves. Why not?
Here you go.
I think we can all agree that I had the best social studies project of any of us, and it was do video games make kids smarter? And I themed it around Mario and had Dr. Mario at the top asking that question, and I wore my lab coat. It was Sydney's lab coat. I wore a white coat. I got interviews from all my family members that play video games. I had a little like a portfolio little book almost of different video game consoles, and when they came out and studies, and I had video games laying out amongst my trifold and controllers, and I went all the way to the state, and I got third in the state.
So there you go.
So there you go. I know Mom has pictures. I know they'll be on the Facebook group at some point.
People like to look at all the stuff you have.
Yeah.
They're like amazed by like, look at all these things.
And like kids just walk over and like those video game controllers aren't plugged into anything. There are no screens here, but they're going to play with those video game controllers. And then you win.
See, I always admired, though, the sheer audacity of that one kid that would just take like 5 or 6 facts and print them out in the biggest font possible. And then they'd back them like with 3 borders each.
Yes.
The header on the top of the board would be like half of the board, and it would just say like, you know, whatever, like
which dish soap is best?
yes. Bacteria. And then
I will say the one social studies project that was not mine that always stood out to me as someone who put in the effort and made it very cool was a kid in my class who did one on the Eiffel Tower and made the Eiffel Tower out of Legos and like scaled it to size of like a Lego person and like a real person and like built it so it was as tall as his trifold.
Oh my gosh.
It was great. I mean, it was awesome, but I never had that kind of dedication.
I still remember one of my favorite from social studies fair, and this was in like 6th or 7th grade, mind you. So a middle schooler put together a project that was titled NAFTA, Do We Have to? And I remember looking at that and like I'd like to think I was a little more informed and part of the process than your average middle schooler, but still I remember looking at that going like, that kid knows enough about NAFTA to do a social studies fair project. And you know that was like a parent like, I'm so sick of this stuff. I'm going to do a social studies fair project. I'm going to get my message out there. NAFTA, do we have to?
That's so funny.
So I'll explain NAFTA to you later, Riley.
Thank you.
I love that you don't like just unimagine. Thank you. No, I have no idea.
yeah, then you got it.
Very tired. I have so much homework. All we done is talk about homework.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm remembering a detail from my Greek goddess presentation. This was a mom idea. I wore Nikes. Yeah, we wore Nikes. I had a partner on it. We wore Nikes specifically so we could talk about Nike.
Sounds like a mom idea.
Yeah.
That is totally a mom idea.
I will say one thing about, I'm going to say probably 100% of the projects I've done, and I'm going to say probably close to 100% of the projects both of you have done. Our mom always helped us with projects and always came up with the niftiest ideas and always had the most outrageous ideas that at the time I would be like, Mom, come on, I don't want to do that. And I would do it and it would always turn out working and I'd always turn out getting a good grade on it. And I would always wait until the night before, so she would inevitably end up staying up with me until like 3 a.m. and helping me make a board game on a region of West Virginia or a trifold about video games.
I made that board game about West Virginia. West Virginia history. What's up? Golden Horseshoe.
Golden Horseshoe.
Morgan. First settler of West Virginia. Only thing I remember. Morgan.
We also have pepperoni rolls.
We have pepperoni.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's the problem though. I think what you're hitting on is the thing about homework that gets to be problematic is that we were very lucky that Mom was available because she wasn't working in the evenings and she could be there with us on evenings and weekends to like invest a ton of time in these projects and help us with them. And like she also pushed us constantly. It was a value she had, and I don't mean push us in a negative way. I just mean like, if you're going to do it, let's do a good job with it. Yeah. Let's put some time into it. Like, don't just throw something
She never
up there.
wanted us to be one of those kids that spread out 5 facts amongst an entire trifold.
No. And the problem is that, like, when it comes to these bigger projects, you're grading the kids, but you're really grading the parents too, because the kids who do have parents who are in a position to do that are going to have more success, are going to get more awards, are going to be looked at more favorably by their teachers and administrators, get better letters of recommendation in the future. And it's not really fair, because there are a lot of kids who maybe are doing the best they can on their own, but have the drive and motivation, but don't have that necessarily parental support. And I don't even mean to insinuate their parents don't care. Maybe their parents have to work and aren't available, can't drive them to Walmart at 3 a.m. because they really forgot, like they need styrofoam balls to cut in half or something. You know what I mean? I mean, like, seriously, that's the kind of stuff that like you can't do on your own when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Now that is true. And a lot of these things we're talking about, now that I think about them, they were probably kind of expensive endeavors too. There was a fair bit of an investment on our part to make these really cool projects that, it's unfortunate. It's all the cool stuff that you put up there gets you a better grade, but that's also like maybe not the way that we should grade.
No, it really isn't. And that gets to be problematic when it comes to homework in general, is that a lot of the time homework is, your kids are going to stumble across things that they don't know how to do. And the more help and assistance you have at home, the better you're going to understand and learn. Because it's like you get like a private teaching session at home. And if you don't, there is value to trying to figure things out for yourself. But then if you could just do it all on your own, why do we even have teachers? Obviously we need that. We need instructors. There's a reason that we have that. We don't just like read everything on the internet. So I don't know. That's difficult. I don't know that more homework is necessarily going to make everybody smarter.
No, I don't think so, because I'm the one that has to do it.
Well, to be fair though, you've benefited from having lots of people around to help you out with certain things.
Yeah, really. Right? Do you want to talk about your online quizzes?
So I mentioned my online quizzes earlier. We have to do every Sunday for my history class and my psychology class. And for the first full week of school this year, I went to the beach with, Sydney, Taylor, and Justin, and Scapy Mike, and Mom and Dad. And we were
and Skittles Joe.
And it was the first week I'd ever done one of those quizzes before, and I was very stressed out about it because I didn't know what it was going to be like. And I had gone over the chapter and done my notes on the chapter, but I did not know it would require reading the chapter word for word, so I had not done that. It was a very long chapter. It was somewhere between 40 and 50 pages. And I sat down to do the quiz, and I was like, everyone, please help. So I remember I was sitting at a table at our beach house with Scapy Mike and Skittles Joe and Taylor and Sydney and Justin all crowded around me, looking through my book and looking up answers to questions online to try to help me finish this quiz, because it's a timed quiz. It's not like it's just a quiz that you have as much time to work on, because that would have been fine. I could have looked up the answers. But this is a 20-minute quiz to do 20 questions. And it was very hard and very stressful.
It was very hard.
It was very hard.
Maybe slightly impeded by the fact that all the adults in this equation were they were on vacation time. They had maybe a couple
on island time.
We were on island time. It was 5:00 there.
Everywhere, all the time.
But yeah, that was my first quiz experience of my junior year, and I ended up doing very well on those quizzes, and it was all because of my family.
Oh, well, and that's, I think that's the on the other side of it, the benefit of homework. I think if anything, the more that it gets people at home, if you have somebody available to help you out, I think that it is like, it's extra teaching hours you're getting at home, one-on-one attention that you need. And then it instills that value. That was something that we were very lucky to have. Our parents told us this matters.
Right.
This really matters. And I'm not saying that grades are the most important thing in the world, but, working hard and trying to succeed at tasks put in front of you, it's an important value that I hope to pass on. So,
well, and it was like, Mom was so hands-on with all that when you got an A, it was like, we got an A. And that's not to say that, but it mattered, because you weren't just letting yourself down. You were letting your parent down if you didn't perform. And that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely. I have one quick question, Riley.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of got into it, and then we got off subject, and like I said, back in the day, we used to use the library mainly to research things. as as we came to the internet age, it was restricted. And I even now find that even among some of my colleagues that are older than me, like this automatic mistrust, like, well, but if you read it on the internet, it could be fake. Mm-hmm. And like this question, how do you know how to assess a source on the internet and decide, is it reliable? What do you do to make sure? Do you get classes on that? Like, do you have teachers who sit down and say, we tell you not to use Wikipedia, and it's not just because it's easy and, that would be too easy, but because Wikipedia is something that everybody makes, and it's, yes, of course, everybody's checking each other, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% the most accurate source on everything all the time.
Yeah.
This is not me slamming Wikipedia. I look at it too. I'm just saying, there's a reason that your teachers would point you to other sources. Do they go over that stuff with you? Because I think that would be one of the most important skills.
They don't. The way I kind of determine it is I go through and I get the information that I need, and then I put you were talking about, which was crazy to me earlier, having to make your own citations and like putting the commas and the quotes and everything in the right place. And we just have a website that our teachers tell us to use it. It's not like a secret that we figured out. Like, our teachers tell us to use it, so we'll always put our bibliographies in the right format. And I kind of put it in there and see if it's a website that actually has information on it on this website that it can find.
Yeah.
Then it fills it out and I don't have to look for it. Then it's probably a trustworthy source. But if it's one that like I put it in and all it could give me is like the website name and like the date it was published, like that's probably not the best. But if it can give me like an article title and a company name and an author and an updated date or whatever, like that's probably good.
Do you ever use Google Scholar?
No, but my English teacher told us about it. I don't really understand it.
I'll use it sometimes to look for like medical, like actual papers, like, and I mean, the only problem with it, a limitation for me, is that if I don't have access to that journal, sometimes I'd have to pay to actually read the article. But but I'm finding like peer reviewed articles on there. So, sources that are, at least in my world, more trustworthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that would be like the most important thing, because the fact is there's so much misinformation on the internet alongside all of the really great information that's out there. I mean, it's like, it should be the great equalizer, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if we all have internet access, we should all have access to learn everything about everything. But unfortunately, anybody can put anything out there. So
yeah, it does seem like there should be some sort of class specifically tailored. Maybe there is one on how to research in the modern age, because we definitely had them. Like, we had classes on how to how to properly research a paper, and not just like how to make the citations, but how to actually seek out information in a library type setting. Now it's like the opposite. It's like how to filter out information.
It really is. I know how to go to a library. I know how to read a card catalog, because that's useful. I know the Dewey Decimal System. I know how to go to a library and like figure out where to find books and how to evaluate those sources, how to find journals in a library. I know how to do that, like to search periodicals and stuff there. But on the internet, it's been something I've largely had to figure out for myself, trial and error style.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like to say kind of I told you so, because I told you we were going to dive underneath the surface of homework and its meanings, and I was going to take you on this journey with me, and you all now have discovered some deep hidden feelings and meanings of homework that you did not previously know were there.
Well, thank you.
On this journey underneath the surface with Riley.
I guess we all learned a little something today.
Okay, well, I just ended it on a really inspirational note, and you had to throw that in there.
All I've learned upon reflection is that I've been a total, like, I've just phoned everything in and gotten around the system at every turn. So I don't know how good I feel after this episode.
I think that what you just said was a very important life skill, though.
It is.
I think
what you get from going underneath the surface.
Hey guys, sometimes the system is broken.
Dang.
That's an important life lesson. Sometimes the system isn't working for you, so you got to work without the system. You got to work around and under and over the system.
Stick it to the man.
That's right.
With baklava.
Stick it to the man with baklava.
Because it's sticky. It
with
is.
Baklava and a looped video of Mrs. Banks from Mary Poppins singing Sister Suffragette.
And can we all be
and Dr.
real?
Mario.
Cliff Notes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, and Cliff Notes.
I love some books, but yeah, Cliff Notes.
They're the way to go.
Yeah, every once in a while you got to read, The House of the Seven Gables.
or The Prince, which is the hardest book I've ever had to read.
I like that there's a takeaway from Still Buffering at Large. The House of Seven Gables is just a terrible book.
I'm going to take every opportunity in my adult life to slam that book.
Grease 2 is amazing. The House of Seven Gables is terrible.
No, Grease 2 is
Still
awful.
Buffering.
No, Grease 2 is awful is the consensus we've reached in the show.
No.
Yes, Grease 2 is the
I've never
worst.
given my opinion on Grease 2.
Yeah, you're the tiebreaker,
I
Taylor.
don't think I'm going to wait on that. That's for a special episode.
Well, thank you, sisters. Riley, we are about to release you to go have fun, do some homework.
I know, I need to go get coffee or else I'm going to fall asleep and go do my homework.
Thank you all for listening. If you'd like to, you can join our Facebook page, Still Buffering on Facebook. You can tweet at us at StillBuff. If you'd like to have us do a Jumbotron, a message, a commercial, or a personal message to somebody you care about, you can go to MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron, and we will do that for you. Also, check out MaximumFun.org because they have lots of other wonderful podcasts that I am certain you would enjoy by our fellow talented podcasters. So go check that out. And personally, everybody out there listening, hang in there.
Yeah.
You know, we got your back here.
Mm-hmm.
And Taylor was saying it earlier, and we were joking about it, that we love you whether or not you're naked, which is true.
Yeah.
If you missed the opening of our show for some reason, if you skip through that part,
How'd
this
you
is going to
get here?
sound really weird.
Yeah.
But we love you no matter what you are.
Yeah.
And that is a value that I think the three of us on this show hold very dear. And if we do have a message other than House of the Seven Gables sucks,
And Grease 2 sucks more.
it's that you are amazing and wonderful just the way you are. And we love you for it. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Novellas
Yes,
for doing our theme song, baby. Change your mind.
This has been,
that was not unrelated, but thank you too.
this has been Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
I'm Taylor Smurl.
I am a teenager.
And
I was too.
That's just like
What movies should I go see this weekend?
Should I care about the Emmys?
Is this meme already dead? Is VR cool?
What happened to Choose Your Own Adventure book?
Are the Kardashians for real?
For answers to these questions and so much more, come on over to Pop Rocket, a pop culture roundtable show with me, Guy Branum.
Winter Mitchell.
Margaret Wappler.
And Oliver Wang.
Catch us every Wednesday on MaximumFun.org or wherever you decide to get your podcasts. I'm not going to judge.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.